Then we did some segmentation around the market to see, is there different needs, psychographic segmentation, because traditionally we have done demographic segmentation, right? They're young, they're going to be a student account. They're young, they're going to go into BTR. Actually, it's very complicated right now in most sectors where you're getting older people that want to rent, they have different lifestyles. You're getting younger people that don't want to rent. It's not as simple as just going, okay, you look like this and that's why your need is that. So we wanted to actually overlay, is there behaviors in the market that we can look at, that we can sell to and keep in our properties? For this, we actually leveled up the sample as well. So we've got enough in each sample. So otherwise student accommodation is less segment in the market, but we up the sample on that. So we can really see what that behavior is because we wanted to really get into it. So the team, they do a lot of clustering, trying to find the needs versus the age versus can we actually put a cluster together. So there's 4 key segments in the market. They don't know themselves as scholars or managed resident. These are names we've given it for us to remember. So you've got the scholar or the student, 18 to 35, mostly lower to middle income, ongoing university. Then you've got this managed resident that is using more of that BTR or managed rental space. They're not all young. They're middle to high income. The value renter, they do private rental. They're different types of education backgrounds. And then what we've called the last one, the launch pad. They're living with parents or some sort of family and they're launching into some sort of rental agreement. And we want to go a little bit deeper into how and why these people think like this. The scholar is this campus first, routine driven. It's the first time in their life they're trying to build routines, be independent. Any go-to-market around predictability, budgeting. They're not necessarily people who know how to budget because they're just coming in. So we help you budget. We help you understand where this is a very good moment for this particular segment. Launchpad on the other side is really you're launching into independence. Any sort of go-to-market that talks about we provide you independence without too much independence, we'll give you some level of predictability in that independence, is sitting here. They're testing their budgets. They're flexible. They want low commitment. So they're not ready to commit to 2-year leases because they're launching into giving rent and knowing how to manage their budgets. And then manage resident. If you think about it, their main thing is certainty seeker. They want some certainty in the way their residence is. It will look like this. The lifts will work, everything. And they value their time and they value experience. Whereas the value renter is more like, I'm going to make my own deals. I'm a deal maker. I'll find something. And we're going to go into where this is moving as well and how to grab some of that traditional renter into the BTR managed rental space. So the high opportunity is, what is the opportunity in the scholar? How do we grab more of the scholar? They're very high engagement, strong digital needs. And what are they looking for? So their current agreements are 6 to 12 months fixed term, academic year. Some of them have agreements on an academic year. Some are on month-to-month rolling. So how nimble is this? They don't have long-term contracts. They're not sitting on some big contracts. They churn very quickly. So they're churnable, which also is good news. They're grabbable. Whichever side of that equation you currently sit on. What do they value? Most value is power and charging. Remember, this is the electronic, their watches are digital, the computers, everything is got batteries attached to it. So any go-to-markets around have the best power charging capabilities, USB 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Study desk space, natural light. This is what they value in shared areas. And this is their current dislikes. The kitchen facilities, they're not happy with right now. Temperature control, cleanliness, laundry. Basically, there is pain, which means there is the ability to meet that pain and grab some market share and actually talk to that pain that you may be used to living in an unclean kitchen in your current student accommodation. This is how we keep ours cleaner. Not easy to achieve with a bunch of students. What is going to make them churn? Rent increases, internet. They're really into internet reliability. So if it's not reliable, internet to them is like oxygen, really worth investing in or talking about. And really saying we have the most reliable internet. They know what that is and they know the buzzwords around that. Noise control and what would make them review, vice versa of this, and quietness as well. Because they're in a student accommodation, the assumption and the hypothesis, you've got some that are really into studying and some that are really into partying, and they're all living together. How we create that noise control is really important. Now, managed resident or BTR or the managed rental space, where is the opportunity here? This is really their wellness focus, amenity focus. They want to see visible management of the property, not like only at the time of signing. They want to see that there is someone managing. They want flexibility as well. Some sort of loyalty, that I am part of something that is giving me some sort of tiers, loyalty, something like that. Here again, there is a lot of room to grab market share because not everyone is stuck in long-term contract. And I guess the laws are also moving towards that you can't lock anyone in for too long. And that's not what the promise of this industry is anyway. It's not to lock people in the good old days of the landlords where you're waiting for that lease agreement to run out and you can move and run. Now, what do they value? Inside, they value natural light, ventilation. Cleanliness keeps coming up as a pain in the market. It's one to solve, or it's one to solve in terms of perception. That's really important. Ours is more better than yours. We spend, instead of spending dollars on the gym, we've decided to spend it on cleanliness because we have people, because there's trade-offs. You can't do everything for everyone. Everything costs money. So hopefully some of these insights allow us to see, do we build that gym or do we build that water feature? Or do we go out for 4-hour cleaning every 4 hours? What are we going to do? What is driving them to churn? This is really worth looking at. Night security. They are not feeling completely secure in some of the locations or, managed services that they're in. The opportunity is there to somehow reinforce that we have more lighting, more security. They're churning right now when asked why did you churn from your last place? Night security, noise control, and then rent increases is the third one. It's not the first one. And the vice versa is safety and quiet. So that's really important to them. Safety, if you pick up nothing from this particular report, this BTR residents want safety looked after and insured and noise control. They really need that in their hierarchy of needs. They want to feel looked after, stable, comfortable, and well serviced. There's a huge opportunity in this space. The value renter, the one that hasn't yet experienced the BTR or the managed rental space, the big part of the market that is slowly shifting, that we are looking to get them to shift. Price conscious, but expect rising services. They do want more services. They do want things cheaper as well. What do they value? Transparency, simplicity, and consistency. Because they have come from driving their own deals, their own internets, their own electrical bills, they value transparency. And it's a good way to actually attract this segment if you can provide some sort of transparency in your billing. Because you might actually be giving them more value, but because they can't see it, they feel less in control of it. So they do value transparency. They don't want to feel like they're paying less or more. Big potential in smart value offerings, bundling, but giving them some level of choice. Do you want to come into our internet or do you want to do your own? I don't know how possible that is, but they're wanting those bundles. Again, they want transparency and you're building trust, moving them into your, segment. Only 35% are in long-term leases. The rest are not. So that's 2/3 of the market that is available to bring into the managed rental space. It's not everyone stuck in this lease they can never get out of. It's immediate available. And the rest are sitting on 18 months. What do they look for? Again, cleanliness, ventilation, quality, storage space. These are the people that need a little bit more storage because they've had permanent, longer-term living wherever they were. And if you can provide it, in London it's tough. If you can be ergonomic and design storage spaces, they really value it. What makes them churn? Night security. So again, it's very hard to provide security if you're in your own rental space. It's a big pull into the managed rental space that we provide 3 times the security of living alone on top of a shop or wherever you're staying, because we provide security. We've got access cards, we've got people manning, we've got lighting, we've got night lighting. This is a huge way to grab market share. Noise control. You have more control in our environments, in the BTR environments on noise control than, living in some apartment block where you don't know who's there. And you also have mixed. I think this top area is one at time of acquisition to talk about if they are if we're looking to acquire, especially if you're building an asset in a location that has only traditional renters, and we're looking to fill that in, not with just new people coming to the locality, but moving some of the traditional people back in. These guys, if you walk away with this psychographic, they judge everything around fairness and control. Transparency and control is really important to them in order to convert them into, this is how we not get from another, because those that are already in the managed space, they're not really into that. They're like, yeah, take everything from me, make it easy. But those that are looking to move into this, they still want a bit of transparency. How we provide that, this is how much we spend on electricals, this is your choice, plan A or B, is really going to drive this. And then the launch pad. As they start planning to move out, there's an opportunity. And this particular one is really, really interesting because it has the greatest lifetime value. And if this becomes their way of living, it's very hard to get. Those that their way of living has become Amazon or Uber Eats, it's very hard to switch back to Argos or whatever else they need to do, right? It's very hard. This segment, a lot of companies are not looking at, the ones that are staying at home and looking to rent. There is this, discussions. I've met a lot of executives on, can we subsidize this little segment to launch in? And remember, this segment has the ability to bring others that are also staying in that demographic at home and get that word of mouth going. Because usually these early sort of employment people know each other, they're friends, they're all living at home, or they all decide to move together. There's a lot of that going on. So there's big word of mouth in this segment. The launchpad, the one that is sitting, because they all used to live in the same neighborhood, went to the same schools. And so the word of mouth, the total addressable market is tightly 1 degree of separation here. They are price conscious. They don't have deep pockets. However, their expectation on life is pretty high. So it's a tough segment because you're moving from home paying nothing with the cleanliness being done by people at home to suddenly having to pay and not have that same standard. But there is a need. And if you can get this, they have a long lifetime value. They're not going into home ownership anytime soon. The reason they're staying at home. So again, what do they value? I'll share this with you. Bathrooms, that's really important. They probably have their own bathroom at home or a home thing. This one is really worth seeing how you bring that launchpad. Is there ways to go to market to bring that launchpad into your portfolio and have some specific product line that attracts the launchpad, the first time renter?